الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله وسلم على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين أما بعد. Praise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We ask Allah to exalt and mention and grant peace and send His blessings upon Prophet Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam. Does anyone know the 5 P's? The 5 P's. And if you're hungry, don't think of peas, carrots and peas. I mean the letter P.
Is that in the marketing? In the marketing?
Marketing. It depends. It could be marketing, it could be other than marketing. But does anyone know of that? Have you ever heard of 5 P's before? You know they have all this kind of stuff. They always put these letters together. Anyone? Any candidate? The 5 P's are proper preparation prevents poor performance. And what we saw in the Salah right now was a classic example. When you're not ready to be an Imam, and there's no preparation, no proper preparation, there's poor performance. So I apologize. It's not befitting for the Imam to be making mistakes, specifically Surah Al-Buruj. So it's my fault. However, and Allah decreed that I knew I was going to be the Imam, I would have done my homework. So it's not fair though for the general people to have to go through this. So accept my sincere apologies. Anyways, going back to our discussion here, in the book of Mukhtasar Minhaj al-Qasidin, we were at the chapter بيان عدد أوراد الليل والنهار وترتيبها. The chapter on clarifying the various forms or remembrance of the night and the day and the sequence of which, how do they come, which one comes first. He said أوراد النهار 7 وأوراد الليل 6 فلنذكر فضيلة كل ورد ووظيفته وما يتعلق به. The awrad of the day are 7 and those of the night are 6. So let's mention each, the virtue of each, the duty or the intent or the objective of each, and then whatever is related to that. He said, and here we will go into some issues, but we'll deal with it as we come, inshallah ta'ala. He says here, والورد الأول من أوراد النهار ما بين طلوع الفجر الثاني إلى طلوع الشمس. The first wird is the one which falls in between the second Fajr and the sunrise. Now, why did he say the second Fajr? Do we have 2 Fajrs?
But it's the time when the time of Azan starts. That is the Fajr Sadiq.
No, we have actually another Al-Fajr al-Kadhib. Have you ever heard of that before? This is the mustalahat in the deen. And Al-Fajr al-Sadiq. That is, there's a time pre-Fajr which the person who's not experienced, doesn't have the knowledge in identifying the horizon or whatever, looking out there, will think it's Fajr, but it's not the real Fajr. It's a very sensitive issue because the time of Salah and fasting and all kinds of things are related to it. So Al-Fajr al-Sadiq is the actual real one, the truthful one. That's what it means. So he's saying Al-Fajr al-Thani, just in case someone thought the first one. Until the sunrise. وَهُوَ وَقْتٌ شَرِيف. And this is a noble time. وَقَدْ أَقْسَمَ اللَّهُ تَعَالَى بِهِ فَقَالَ وَالصُّبْحِ إِذَا تنفس. Allah Azza wa Jal gave an oath by this particular time, which is the morning when it tanafas, breathes, that early dawn. فينبغي للمريد إذا انتبه من النوم أن يذكر الله سبحانه وتعالى فيقول الحمد لله الذي أحيانا بعد ما أماتنا وإليه النشور. بعد ما أماتنا وإليه النشور. Therefore, the one who is seeking Allah's pleasure, that is, not the murid of the other people. If he wakes up from his sleep, he should remember Allah Azza wa Jal and make this particular dua. All praise is due to Allah who granted us life after He had caused us to die, and to Him is the return. Now this is very important because this proves the concept of the idea that when you sleep, it's a form of death. It's a form of death. Allah يتوفى الأنفس, for example, Allah Azza wa Jal said, حين منامها. Allah Azza wa Jal causes the soul to pass away at the time of sleep. And then Allah Azza wa Jal will send it back for the one who had decreed for it ajal, musamma or qadar, to live on. Otherwise he may claim the soul during death, during sleep. So it's a smaller form of death. Sleeping is a smaller form of death. Not complete death so that your soul completely departs from your body, but according to the narrations it's out there. It's out there. And therefore people see dreams and so on and so forth. And so when somebody wants to argue with you about Jesus, alayhi salam, that Allah Azza wa Jal said to him, إِنِّي مُتَوَفِّيكِ, that I will cause you to the same thing, wafat. And they say, well, then that means Jesus died, and you're saying that he was raised alive. We will say no, because in Islam we have this idea that you don't have to be necessarily dead. And wafat here could mean like, that توفي الشخص مثلا حسابه أو أجره is a form of fulfillment until something has reached this complete form. So the term wafat in and of itself has many interpretations. So be careful of the Christians trying to use this against you. نعم. And he said روي ذلك عن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم من أفراد البخاري. And he said here رواه البخاري والترمذي وأبو داود عليهم رحمة الله جميعا. وفي أفراد مسلم من حديث ابن مسعود رضي الله عنه قال كان رسول الله صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وسلم إذا أمسى قال أمسينا وأمسى الملك لله والحمد لله ولا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له له الملك وله الحمد وهو على كل شيء قدير ربي أسألك خير ما في هذه الليلة وخير ما بعدها وأعوذ بك من شر ما في هذه الليلة وشر ما بعدها ربي أعوذ بك من الكسل وسوء الكبر ربي أعوذ بك من عذاب في النار وعذاب في القبر. In this hadith, of course all of these you can find in a cute little book called Muslim Fortress. I don't think any Muslim should not have this book. It's pretty much almost authentic all the way. There are a couple of narrations which are questionable, or at least some of the ulama have some comments on the authenticity of some of the narrations. It's very limited in number, but generally the book is reliable, inshallah ta'ala. Specifically in the issue of the Adhkar Sabah and Masa, because we have the work of Shaykh al-Islam ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah, Al-Kalim al-Tayyib, and Shaykh al-Albani rahimahullah did like a revision. He went through the book of authenticating it, and he observed some ahadith in the Adhkar Sabah and Masa rahimahullah, which he considered to be da'if, along with some of the adhkar pertaining to entering the house. Bismillah walajna wa Bismillah kharajna. According to the Shaykh, that's not an authentic tradition. It's not an authentic tradition. But anyways, this is an area where the scholars differ. We'll take it easy, inshallah. Ala kulli hal, just so you will know. So in this particular hadith, it says, of course, we have reached the evening, and in that time, during every time, the dominion belongs to Allah Azza wa Jalla, and all praise due to Allah. There's no God worthy of worship except Allah. He has no partners. To Him belongs the dominion, to Him belongs the praise, and He's able to do all things. Then you say, oh Allah, I ask you of whatever good is in this night, and whatever will come after. All the good which will come after. And I seek refuge with you, O Allah, of the evil which is in this night, and that which will come after. O Allah, I seek refuge with you from laziness. See that? The Prophet ﷺ seeking refuge with Allah from laziness. So, therefore, is being lazy good or bad? Automatically, when the Prophet ﷺ seeks refuge with Allah from something, is it good or bad? It's good? It's bad, of course. Just testing. He didn't say it's good, by the way. It's bad. It's bad. Then, laziness is at various degrees. They say that some people are so lazy, that he was working in a grocery store, and someone came and asked him and he had his feet stretched out. Someone asked him where that one thing is, tomato or whatever. With his foot, he gestured. It's in that direction. He doesn't want to move his arm. Okay, he's in such a lazy condition that with his foot, he just, it's over there. Marra. Done, And some people are not that lazy, but they're lazy. The worst kind of laziness is the one related to what? Ibadah. Ibadah in general, salah specifically. And more specifically, Fajr. Hey, this is, if you really want to know whether you're lazy or not, don't look too long. Don't waste time. Check yourself at Fajr. If you see the clock, you see 2 minutes for Adhan, and then you go back to sleep, know that there's some major laziness there. Because 2 minutes, by the time you get up and go to the bathroom and make wudu and go downstairs and pray the sunnah of Fajr and so on and so forth, it's almost Iqamah time. This is if the masjid is right across the street from you, let alone if you have to walk some distance or those who have to drive sometimes. So that is a really good benchmark or yardstick for us to see whether we are lazy or not. And generally, which means we should also engage in some sports. And my advice to the Muslims in general, myself first and then Shabab specifically, is don't waste too much time just watching a whole match. You watch a whole soccer match while you're eating chips and French fries, and they're losing weight and you're gaining weight. Like, yeah, mashallah, we won. Yes, they won. You lost, barakallah feek. You're out there. By the time you realize what's going on, you can't even get out of the couch. So this is nothing really beneficial. You may want to watch something for skills, benefit from their skills so you can apply them in your own sport. But to be a spectator, like a cheerleader for all the teams, I don't think it's befitting. Whether it is cricket or basketball or football or soccer, whatever you want to call it, it's same sense also. Do something. You play the sport. You lose weight. You get engaged. You benefit. Then, jazakallah khair. But just to watch, it's sad, man. Then the Prophet ﷺ will seek refuge with Allah Azza wa Jal from the difficult condition of being an elderly. When you go old and you start kind of, as the human being gets older, he goes back to the baby stages. He needs someone to look after him, he needs attention, so on and so forth. And that could be difficult upon the person himself. Forget about the people around him. Upon the person himself, he doesn't want to be a burden. He's an old man, he's already, lived through life, and he doesn't want to be a burden. So you seek refuge with Allah from being in this particular condition. And then you seek refuge with Allah from the punishment of the hellfire and the punishment of the grave. And this is from the evidences of Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah, that there's a punishment in the grave. Otherwise the Prophet ﷺ would not have sought refuge with Allah from adab al-qabr, adabu fil qabr. Because we have Muslims, so-called, today, who say there's no adab al-qabr. There's no such thing. Why? Because it doesn't make sense. Why does it make sense? How can you be in the grave? We opened a grave, we saw nothing but dirt and bones. We could not see any garden of Jannah, we didn't see any pit from the pits of the hellfire. We couldn't see this, and therefore there must be nothing there. Is this a rational way of looking at things? How do you refute that? What is the first answer? The first, default, generic answer for any philosophical argument of this sort.
One about Fir'aun in the Quran.
La. Now you're trying to refute with other evidence that there's adab al-qabr. And the ayah in the Quran is not as explicit. It's there. النار يعرضون عليها غدوا وعشيا ويوم القيامة إلى آخره. But still, we want an answer that doesn't only address the issue of the punishment of the grave. Anyone who's skeptical about anything pertaining to after this life of ours, how do you refute them? The best way, according to the ulama, the best way to refute someone is by making them acknowledge and admit something, by getting something that they acknowledge and then telling them they're the same. This is why we say to the Christian or the Jew, your disbelief in Muhammad ﷺ is in fact disbelief in Jesus. And if you believed in Jesus based on such miracles, then the same description fit the Prophet ﷺ. So on what basis are you accepting one, rejecting one, when if you were to observe them, you will have the same evidence for both? So what is the greatest way to say, okay, do you believe? Okay, fine, let's set aside the qabr and the adab or the delight of the qabr. Do you believe in Yawm al-Qiyamah? Yes. Do you believe in Jahannam being eternal? Yes. So you believe people will burn in Jahannam eternally? Yes. How? Can your physical body now handle it? Can you endure being in the fire, or will you roast? You will roast after 5-10 minutes, khalas. Then you become ashes. Don't the Hindus burn people to ashes? Don't people until now burn themselves to ashes, then they throw themselves in the ocean for whatever reason? But how are people going to burn in the hellfire eternity? He would have to say, well, Allah wills. It's the will of Allah. Say exactly. So Allah, who will make people stay in Jahannam eternally, can make people in the grave be punished or be delighted without you seeing that. You didn't see the people in Jahannam, did you? No, and you didn't see the people in the grave. So then what? So the same thing that you're refuting, you're denying, we can find you evidences that you acknowledge. If you disbelieve in the Akhirah as well, then where's Islam? You disbelieve in everything in the Quran and the Sunnah at this point.
Here, عذاب في النار وعذاب في القبر. Why it is عذاب القبر after عذاب النار?
الله أعلم. الله أعلم. وإذا أصبح قال ذلك أيضا. وأصبحنا وأصبح الملك لله. And if you up in the morning, then you make the same dhikr. But instead of the term أمسينا, you say أصبحنا. Very easy. We should all memorize this inshallah. إلى آخره. ويقول بسم الله الذي لا يضر مع اسمه شيء في الأرض ولا في السماء وهو السميع ما شاء الله تبارك الله. So in the name of Allah, with whose name nothing can harm in the heavens and the earth, and He is the all-hearing, all-knowing. You say this 3 times, and you also say رضيت بالله ربا وبالإسلام دينا وبمحمد صلى الله عليه وسلم نبيا ورسولا. I am pleased with Allah Azza wa Jal as my Lord or my Rabb, and Muhammad and the Islam as my way of life, and the Prophet Muhammad صلى الله عليه وسلم as a prophet and a messenger. Now, فإذا صلى الفجر قال وهو ثان رجله قبل أن يتكلم لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له له الملك وله الحمد يحيي ويميت وهو على كل شيء قدير 10 مرات. The Shaykh said when you conclude Salatul Fajr, you say while your leg is still twisted, still bent, before you move from your location. You say 10 times, لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له له الملك وله الحمد يحيي ويميت وهو على كل شيء قدير. ويذكر سيد الاستغفار. ويذكر سيد الاستغفار. What does that mean? MashaAllah. But no one translated what I said. He mentions, why it's called Sayyid al-Istighfar? Sayyid is like a master. Meaning it's of virtue. It's higher in the hierarchy than others. Why? I mean, if you read it, it's self-explanatory. The level of humiliation in the hadith, in the dua, and your beseeching of Allah Azza wa Jal explains why this could be the Sayyid of al-Istighfar. Which is basically the statement, Allahumma anta rabbi la ilaha illa ant, khalaqtani wa ana abduka wa ana ala ahdika wa wa'dika ma istata'at, a'udhu bika min sharri ma sana'at, abu'u laka bi ni'matika alayya wa abu'u bi dhanbi faghfir li, fa innahu la yaghfiru dhunuba illa ant. Oh Allah, you are my Lord and Master. There is none worthy of worship but you. You have created me and I am your slave. So you look at this, servitude. And I am upon the covenant and the promise which I have given to the best of my ability, admitting the shortcomings. I seek refuge with you from the evil of that which I have done. And I admit to you the favor you have upon me. And I admit my sin as well. So forgive me, there is none who forgives the sins but you. Beautiful dua. Beautiful dua. Subhanallah. ويقول أصبحنا على فطرة الإسلام وكلمة الإخلاص وعلى دين نبينا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وملة أبينا إبراهيم حنيفا مسلما وما كان من المشركين. You further say, we have woken up, or we have reached the morning time upon the fitrah of Islam, the tawheed, the submission to Allah, and the statement of ikhlas, and upon the religion of our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and upon the way of Ibrahim. And he was a hanif. He was diverting from any deviance. He stayed away from any wrong path. Musliman, and he was never among the polytheists. ويدعو اللهم أصلح لي دين الذي هو عصمة أمري وأصلح لي دنياي التي فيها معاشي وأصلح لي آخرتي التي فيها معادي واجعل الحياة زيادة لي في كل خير واجعل الموت راحة لي من كل شر. This is an important dua. Some of us might have forgotten it. We usually hear it in Ramadan, and maybe it's been a while since we heard it, so it's good to get it back into the system, inshallah. This dua says, oh Allah, rectify for me this is a very comprehensive dua. O Allah, rectify for me my religion, which is the stronghold of my affair. And rectify for me my worldly affair, in which is my livelihood, in which there's my livelihood. And rectify for me my hereafter, because this is my destination, this is my promise, this is my appointment. And make life means of acquiring every kind of good. And make death means of getting safety and comfort from every kind of evil. Yani when you die, khalas, you don't have to worry about anything anymore. Then he went on to say, وَيَدْعُو بِدُعَاءِ أَبِي الدَّرْدَاءِ اللهم أنت ربي لا إله إلا أنت عليك توكلت وأنت رب العرش العظيم ما شاء الله كان وما لم يشأ لم يكن ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم أعلم أن الله على كل شيء قدير وأن الله قد أحاط بكل شيء علما. Let me just check here if there are any comments on this particular wording. Anyways, the Shaykh rahimahullah attributed this to Abu Darda, and I don't see any reference to this particular thing. So it's a general dua, inshallah. Huh?
It says da'if.
Yeah, it doesn't say that. Okay, alhamdulillah, so we skip it. Barakallah fiqh. Then he went on to say, وَيَنْبَغِي لَهُ قَبْلَ خُرُوجِهِ إِلَى صَلَاةِ الْفَجْرِ أَنْ يُصَلِّيَ السُنَّةَ فِي مَنْزِلِهِ ثُمَّ يَخْرُجُ مُتَوَجِّهًا إِلَى الْمَسْجِدِ. Furthermore, it is incumbent on him prior to leaving to Salat al-Fajr to pray the Sunnah at home. Because the asl is that the Prophet ﷺ prayed the Sunnah at home. Then he should head towards the masjid and he should say, and this one is no bueno. Okay? This one has a serious issue because it conflicts with our aqidah. It conflicts with our aqidah and the concept of tawassul. And you find that anytime they want to prove something to their favor, you find that the hadith is da'if. It does not support them. So this one we will not address obviously because the hadith is inauthentic. فإذا دخل المسجد فليقل ما روى مسلم في صحيحه أن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال إذا دخل أحدكم المسجد فليسلم على النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم ثم ليقل اللهم افتح لي أبواب رحمتك وإذا خرج فليقل اللهم أني أسألك من فضلك. Of course, this is the segment of the dua. If you enter the masjid, then you should do what the Prophet ﷺ taught, that if one of you enters the masjid, let him first send salah upon the Prophet ﷺ. Then you should say, Oh Allah, open for me the doors of your mercy. And when you leave, you say, Oh Allah, I ask you of your bounty. The longer one is, أعوذ بالله العظيم وجهه الكريم وسلطانه القديم من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله اللهم افتح لي أبواب رحمتك. That is the full version, if we may say, or the combination of the ad'iyah. ثم يطلب الصف الأول منتظرا للجماعة داعيا بنحو ما تقدم من الأذكار والأدعية. Then you should seek the first row. And you will never find a scholar who will tell you otherwise in regards to this issue. Seek the first row, awaiting the jama'ah, making dua in a manner similar to what we have presented earlier in terms of the etiquettes of dua and the etiquettes of adhkar. فإذا صلى الفجر استحب أن يمكث في مكانه إلى طلوع الشمس. And if he prays Fajr, it is recommended that he remains in his place until sunrise, based on a hadith which was authenticated by Shaykh al-Albani rahimahullah, that whosoever does so, then he will have the ajr of hajjatin tammatin tamma, complete hajj. فقد روى أنس رضي الله عنه عن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم أنه قال من صلى الفجر في جماعة ثم قعد يذكر الله تعالى حتى تطلع الشمس ثم صلى ركعتين كانت له كأجر حجة وعمرة تامة سبحان الله. حديث رواه الترمذي وقال حديث حسن. We said some of the ulama said it's ضعيف and some of the ulama said it is صحيح. Take it easy, brother. The Prophet ﷺ said whoever prays Fajr in a jama'ah, then he remains remembering Allah until the sun rises. Then he prays 2 rak'at, which is the rak'at, the duha, right, or the shuruq, the rak'atain of shuruq. Of course, the scholars say if you look at the timetable, you usually wait 10 to 15 minutes after the time it says on the paper. So if it says 7:10, you push it another 10 minutes, 7:20, to make sure that the sun had actually risen, according to what we've heard from the scholars. So you will have the ajr of Umrah, Hajj and Umrah complete. وليكن وظائف وقته 4 الدعاء والذكر والقراءة والفكر, and let your time be occupied in doing 4 duties: supplication, remembrance, recitation, contemplation. وليأتي بما أمكنه وليتفكر في قطع القواطع وشغل الشواغل عن الخير ليؤدي وظائف يومه أو يومه, وليتفكر في نعم الله تعالى ليتوفر شكره. And let him, do of that whatever he is able, within his ability and capability. And let him reflect on the things which may prevent that, the obstacles which may face him in the way, or the things which may occupy and keep him busy, away from goodness, so that he may fulfill the duties of that day. And let him remember the favors of Allah Azza wa Jalla upon him, so he may be thankful accordingly. الورد الثاني ما بين طلوع الشمس إلى الضحى, وذلك بمضي 3 ساعات من النهار. The second word is the one between the sunrise and duha, and that was after 3 hours had gone from the day. إذا فرض النهار 12 ساعة إذا فرض النهار 12 ساعة وهو الربع. If we assume that the day is 12 hours, and that would be a quarter of that. وهذا وقت شريف وفيه وظيفتان. This is also a noble time, and it has 2 expectations. أحدهما صلاة الضحى. The first of which صلاة الضحى. Does anyone know any hadith about صلاة الضحى? Abdullah? Hadith Abu Hurairah, that he said, أوصاني خليلي, that my beloved advised me of 3 things. صح? That I should pray witr before I sleep, because Abu Hurairah used to revise the hadith radiallahu anhu at a different condition. Otherwise, the best is to delay witr till the end of the night. After you sleep, then you wake up. على كل حال. And salat al-duha, and fasting 3 days of each month. Now, anyone knows another hadith? Very important hadith about salat al-duha. We should start praying salat al-duha actually. I don't know how many. Don't burn yourself out. I don't know how many of us do it, but maybe we'll use tonight, inshallah, as a reminder for all of us to start praying salat al-duha. A couple of rak'at will do a tremendous job. No one remembers the hadith?
الحديث أنا بس
اللفظ بالمعنى يجي.
معنى أنه يعني هي بتزكي على عظامه.
That you have how many joints in your body? 360. And that salat al-duha is like a sadaqah, and each one has a sadaqah due on its behalf. Salat al-duha will suffice you that. That's a lot of stuff. That's a lot of stuff. SubhanAllah. Yani instead of doing it 300, of course, we understand that al-amru bil-ma'roof sadaqah, wa nahy 'anil munkar sadaqah. Sadaqah could be done, someone can meet the quota of the 360. But salat al-duha, you tujzi an hada kulli, yani it will do the job. And it's only minimum 2 rak'at. Some of the scholars say you can pray up to 8. Some of them say it's unlimited, but the minimum requirement is 2. It takes a few minutes, inshallah. And plus, early in the morning, in the day, you're working, it's good to take some time out and remember Allah Azza wa Jalla. You feel energetic, inshallah. You revive yourself. Or you get... Oh, my gosh.
It's like 3 hours after flight?
Yeah, I mean, Salat al-Duha is from, technically, because Shurut and Duha and has a third name. Al-Muhim, all of them are referring to the time, but the time is where the name comes from. The time. There's a third one. Salat al-Awwabin. Is that what it is? لا هذه واحدة ثانية. It has a third name, which is the latest part of it. Al-Muhim, 3 hours into Salat al-Duha. After Shuruq. So if Shuruq is 7 o'clock, so you're looking at 9, 10, around this time. Inshallah. والثانية ما يتعلق بالناس. The other obligation or duty that you are expected to fulfill has to do with people. So the first one is duha, that's between you and Allah. The second one is عيادة مريض, visiting a sick person. أو تشييع جنازة أو جنازة, both are said. To walk, behind a funeral procession. أو حضور مجلس علم, or attending a gathering of knowledge. أو قضاء حاجة مسلم, or fulfilling the need of a Muslim. وإن لم يفعل شيئا من ذلك تشغل بالقراءة والذكر. And if he has nothing else to do, then he occupies himself with qira'ah and dhikr. And you can do this even in modern days. Nowadays you're sitting behind a computer maybe and doing some things. That doesn't prevent you from saying subhanallah walhamdulillah while you're working. Of course the people next to you think you have problems, because this guy is talking to himself. But you explain to them, if they're non-Muslims, if you have if a Muslim, they understand, mashallah, you're remembering Allah. For the non-Muslims, they may not know what you're doing. So you use this as an opportunity for da'wah. You say, maybe you'll see me moving my mouth all the time. Don't worry, I don't speak to myself. I haven't reached that point yet. Of course, maybe after a couple of months working here, I will get there. But until then, I'm remembering, my Creator. So this is how we Muslims, and you can open the door of da'wah with something like that. Now, most people start speaking to themselves actually after working in a place for too long. والورد الثالث من وقت الضحى إلى الزوال. والوظيفة في هذا الوقت الأقسام الأربعة وزيادة أمرين. The third one is the time between duha and zawal, which is dhuhr. And the obligation or the duty is the same things we mentioned earlier, which is al-qira'ah wal-tafakkur wal-du'a. Wal-qira'ah. Janaza, no. He's speaking about the other ones we mentioned earlier. وزيادة أمرين, and we add two things. أحدهما الاشتغال بالكسب والمعاش, or it could be that actually. الاشتغال بالكسب والمعاش وحضور السوق. Busy, back then there was a small time for work. One of the things which you do during the day is busying yourself with earning a living. MashaAllah, tabarakallah. And your livelihood, and then going to the market. فإن كان تاجرا فليتجر بصدق وأمانة. And if you happen to be a merchant, then do so with honesty, and with truthfulness. وإن كان صاحب صنعا فليصنع بنصيحة وشفقة. And she always tells me it's 8 hours, and I say, you guys sleep too much. So now it's going to be used against me for Allah knows how long. And the first time I bring him to this class, I wound up reading this. فضل الله ما شاء فعل. I hope they're busy with the kids now. Sheikh bin Baz rahimahullah, they say you should sleep 4 hours here. He used to sleep 4 hours a day. Now, so the Shaykh is saying, this is i'tidal. But mind you, these are people who are praying half of the night, a quarter of the night, not like today. فَمَنْ نَامَ أَقَلَّ مِنْ ذَلِكَ لَمْ يَأْمَنْ اضْطِرَابَ بَدَنِهِ. Whoever sleeps less than that, he does not feel secure that he will have some physical problems. Shaykh, rahmatullah alayh. وَمَنْ نَامَ أَكْثَرَ مِنْ ذَلِكَ كَثُرَ كَسَلًا. And whoever sleeps more than that, he will become lazier. And ask the people, some people sleep 12 hours and then he wakes up, he feels more tired than ever. And then he continues till 14 and 15 and it just goes on for days. Unless someone says, look, you have to get up, get out of this bed. Because the longer you sleep, the lazier you get. Especially if you're sleeping on sleeping high, or whatever that mattress is. Sleep high? Oh, I'm sorry. Sleeping high doesn't make sense. فإذا نام أكثر من ذلك في الليل فلا وجه لنومه في النهار. He said, if you sleep more than this at night, there's no point in sleeping during the day. You have plenty of sleep. You go work. بل من نقص منه استوفى ما نقص في النهار. Whatever you miss out on the night, then you can pray that during the day. So the Shaykh is sticking to the 8 hours at the end of the day. Balance. So however you do it, you do it. Distribute it, throughout the day. Now, الورد الرابع ما بين الزوال إلى الفراغ من صلاة الظهر. The fourth wird so far we've had. The first one which is between the second fajr and shuruq. Then the second one between shuruq and duha. And then between duha and zawal. Now the fourth one ما بين الزوال إلى الفراغ من صلاة الظهر. The time between zawal and dhuhr itself. وهو أقصر أوراد النهار وأفضلها. It's the shortest of the awrad of the morning and the best of them. فينبغي له في هذا الوقت أن إذا أذن المؤذن أن يجيبه بمثل قوله. And perhaps he's saying that because of Salat al-Fajr, Salat al-Dhuhr afwan. So it is incumbent on you, if during that time when the mu'adhin calls the adhan, that you respond to him by repeating the same. ثم يقوم فيصلي 4 ركعات. Then you get up and you pray 4 ركعات. ويستحب له أن يطيلهن. And it is recommended that you elongate them, you stretch them. فإن أبواب السماء تفتح حينئذ, because the gates of the heavens are open during that time. ثم يصلي الظهر وسننها ثم يتطوع بعدها أربعة. Then he prays Dhuhr and the Sunan, and then he prays also voluntarily أربعة. Of course, according to some ulama or according to other hadith, 2. If you want to get the house in Jannah, you have to pray 12 rak'at, 2 before Fajr, 4 before Dhuhr, 2 after Dhuhr, 2 after Maghrib, 2 after Isha. But then we have other hadith about 4 after Dhuhr and 4 before Asr, and more, so on and so forth. Now, الورد الخامس ما بعد ذلك إلى العصر يستحب له في هذا الوقت الاشتغال بالذكر والصلاة وفنون الخير ومن أفضل الأعمال انتظار الصلاة بعد الصلاة. The fifth one is after Salat al-Asr. It is recommended that you busy yourself during that time with remembrance and prayer. وفنون الخير. But is that possible? After Asr you busy yourself with Salah? So what could Salah mean here? Dua. Dua. Huh? Because one of the meanings of Salah is dua. وَلَا تَجْهَرْ بِصَلَاتِكَ وَلَا تُخَافِتْ بِهَا وَابْتَغِ بَيْنَ ذَلِكَ سَبِيلًا. دقيقة. Huh? We're dealing with إذا دخل وقت العصر
till Asr, not after Asr.
Oh, okay. I read the paragraph below. But either way, I'm glad we mentioned that. So dua can also be called Salah, because that particular ayah was interpreted by Aisha radiallahu anha about the dua. That don't raise your voice in the dua. We mentioned that before. أحسنت يا سعيد. ما بعد ذلك العصر. نعم. The word khamis is until Asr. Therefore there's Salah. If not, it could have been the other meaning. وفنون الخير. Funun, be careful now, because when you hear funun today, you go to actors and actresses and fannan, and they call them that names. But they're speaking about other kinds of work here, the works of good. ومن أفضل الأعمال انتظار الصلاة بعد الصلاة. Among the best of deeds is waiting for Salah. Waiting for the next Salah after having done that one Salah. Yani as soon as you finish Dhuhr, you're already thinking about Asr. And when you finish Asr, you're thinking about Maghrib. And after Maghrib, Isha. After Isha, Fajr. So your mind is always preoccupied with preparation for the Salah. Make sure that you have a plan accordingly. Because some people make the worst plans that conflict with Salah. Salah, they don't even think about it. Then later say, oh yeah, that's the time of Salah. You see this very often. So that like the Maghrib will be at 6 o'clock, adhan, someone will say, okay, well I'll meet you at the whatever at 6 o'clock. But my Shaykh, this is the time of Salah. By the time I meet you and with the zahma of Jeddah, and you make it on time, and it doesn't make sense. So make the appointment after Salah. Or that we meet before Salah, pray together, or we meet after Salah. But meeting at the time of Salah may ruin the Salah for both of you. You waiting for him and he's waiting for you. Or you both going to the same destination, stuck in traffic. You don't want to be late. Both of you didn't pray on time. So someone who's like this, when you deal with times and appointments, Salah is on his mind. He knows what's up. So he says that this is time of Salah, I cannot have a meeting then. We cannot have a training then. We cannot do blah blah then. إلى آخره. حلو؟ الورد الخامس ما بعد ذلك الورد السادس إذا دخل وقت العصر إلى أن تصفر الشمس. The time of Asr until the sun becomes yellow. وليس في هذا الوقت صلاة سوى 4 ركعات بين الأذانين. There's no salah there except the 4 ركعات between adhan and iqamah. Between every adhan, between every 2 adhan, in other words, there's a salah. ثم فرض العصر, then صلاة العصر. ثم يتشاغل بالأقسام الأربعة التي سبق ذكرها في الورد الأول. والأفضل فيها تلاوة القرآن بالتدبر والتفهم. Then you busy yourself with the 4 things we mentioned earlier. And here he specified Quran and tadabbur, which means that earlier he was referring to the التفكر والقراءة والذكر وإلى آخره والدعاء. So the best of them, the Shaykh said, is the recitation of the Quran with contemplation and understanding. This is the last one, inshallah. والورد السابع من اصفرار الشمس إلى أن تغرب وهو وقت شديد. From the time the sun becomes yellowish until it actually sets, and it is a blessed time. It's a noble time. قال الحسن البصري رحمه الله كانوا أشد تعظيما للعشي من أول النهار. That they used to magnify this particular time, the evening time, more than the beginning of the day. فيستحب في هذا الوقت التسبيح والاستغفار خاصة. It is recommended that you do a lot of tasbih and istighfar specifically. وبالمغرب تنتهي أوراد النهار, and at Maghrib time and the awrad of the day, according to one opinion, of course. According to the other opinion, that from after Asr, before Maghrib, you do أذكار المساء. صحيح؟ نعم. فينبغي أن يلاحظ العبد أحوال. From his way, it's gone out of the way. نعم. وليعلم أن العمر أيام تنقضي جملتها بانقضاء أحدها. And let him know that the lifespan is nothing but days. All of it goes away when one by one go away. قال الحسن يا ابن آدم إنما أنت أيام. Al-Hasan used to say, O son of Adam, you're nothing but days. إذا مضى يومك مضى بعضك. If part of your day goes by, part of you goes away. وَلْيَتَفَكَّرْ هَلْ سَاوَى يَوْمَهُ أَمْسَهُ. And let him reflect, has today been equal to yesterday's? فإذا رأى أنه قد توفر على الخير في نهاره فليشكر الله سبحانه وتعالى التوفيق. If he sees that he's been involved in good during the day, then let him praise Allah Azza wa Jal for granting him success. فإن تكن الأخرى فليتب وليعزم على تلافي ما سبق من التفريط في الليل. If it's different, however, if he didn't do good in the day, let him repent to Allah and